Hey. Hey, welcome to the vlog.
That was weird. Coffee, you cray. Get your crayon. Get your crayon. Hi. So I mentioned that this is my 4th year doing NaNoWriMo, my 3rd year winning, cause it is. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about my previous NaNoWriMo projects. Before I really get into this one and forget everything else I've ever written, I figure we might as well, reminisce a little bit. Sound like a good plan? 2 thumbs up. That's how good of a plan this girl thinks it is. Yeah. Today I am drinking a white mocha with extra shots. This is a pretty good contender for the official unofficial drink of NaNoWriMo 2012. Last year, if you recall, it was the venti double shot, which is basically just 5 shots of espresso, sweetener, and milk on ice. This is just 3 shots of espresso and milk and white chocolate. A little less caffeine heavy, but it's nice and warm, so I like that about it. Grande white mocha for president! Moving on. Let's start at the beginning. I found out about NaNoWriMo in 2008, in the first week of November. So it was too late for me to join in at that point, but I was determined to join the next year. And I did. But in the meantime, I still wanted to write. So I wrote a novel called Untouched about a girl who dies and then she must act as a grim reaper and collect souls for a second chance at life, but she ends up being sent to collect the soul of her long lost love and she just can't bring herself to do it. Romance and chaos ensue. That's how a lot of my stories end up. Something happens, romance and chaos ensue. I like me some romance and chaos. So anyway, Untouched was the first complete novel that I finished, and I finished it before NaNoWriMo. It took me 6 or 7 months to write the draft, revise it, get it ready. I queried that. It was not good. I am not surprised that it didn't get picked up. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't that good. It was kind of boring. Not a lot happened. So that was Untouched. I started that in 2008 at the very end, and I finished it in 2009. After that, I worked a little bit on some other projects in between. To be honest, I have about 20 different projects that all have somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 words written on it, and that's it. I do my outline, I write the first couple of chapters, and then I'm like, oh, but I have this other really cool idea that I want to write, so I'm gonna do that now. So I worked on some of those in the meantime. 2009, first year of NaNoWriMo, I write a story called The Plural of Love. It was about a girl who meets a boy with multiple personality disorder, dissociative identity disorder, and she falls in love with each of his personalities. And it was kind of a interesting romance. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it 100% just contemporary romance or if I was gonna make his personalities kind of magical, fantasy-ish to make it bend to my will of story creation. I ended up winning NaNoWriMo with that. I got to 50,000 words, but because I didn't outline it completely beforehand, I ended up chopping about 30,000 of those words and only the first 20,000 were any good. But I won NaNoWriMo, and that's what really matters in life. Winning NaNoWriMo. I'm so good at life! After The Plural of Love, I went another year writing on more stories, getting them up to 10,000 words or so, except I actually finished another story. It was called The Temper. Well, it had 2 titles. I called it The Temper at first. I changed it to Connor Thomas and the Hero of Farshire. And it was about a boy named Connor Thomas who lives in a magical world where superheroes exist and some people have powers and some people have useless powers and some people have awesome powers. So Connor Thomas had the power to change the temperature of things. It was pretty widely regarded as a useless power, but he ends up getting a sidekick job nonetheless. However, when the hero, Captain Power, who's kind of a douchebag, when he accidentally kills himself in a publicity stunt gone wrong, Connor has to assume the identity of the fallen hero. Chaos and romance ensue. I didn't query that one. I completed it, I sent it to my beta readers, and then I considered it and was like, I wouldn't want this to be my debut novel, so I set it aside, and now we come to NaNoWriMo 2010, aka the one I lost. let's not focus too much on the losing part. It was a story called Beautiful Madness about a girl named Olivia whose best friend recently committed suicide. She's kind of having trouble dealing, and then she starts getting visions, like psychic dream vision type things, that show her that her friend did not commit suicide. She was murdered because she had a supernatural gift, and Olivia just might be the next target. Romance and chaos ensue. I only got to about 25,000 words for Beautiful Madness, but I did kind of finish the draft. It was a really short, really quick draft, and then I spent the next 6 months developing it, filling it out, editing it, revising it. I queried that one. I got some requests for fulls. People were feeling that. They liked the writing. It was really nice. You know, I had agents who read the entire thing and told me that they liked it, but they just didn't love it, and that is the most frustrating read to get rejected. 2011, NaNoWriMo. You guys know what happened there. If you don't, you can witness it, because that's what all of the other vlogs on my channel are about. In case you want the too long don't watch version, I wrote a story called The Island about a boy named Nicholas who lives on a magical floating fantasy island. He's grown up there his entire life. There is no way to get off the island. Even though Nicholas has always dreamed of leaving the island, it's just not feasible. Until one day, dun dun dun, he sees a ship in the distance. Someone is approaching the island. Holy crap! What's going on? He doesn't know, but he wants to find out. Romance and chaos ensue. I finished The Island. 50,000 and like 20 words. But I did not spend the last year revising and editing it and polishing it and querying it. I spent the last year going to school. The Island just sat there unedited, untouched. Not to be confused with the first novel I wrote untouched. I do intend to go back and fix it up. It's just, it's missing something. And until I figure that out, there's not a lot I can do editing wise. I know I need to do a lot of world building for the story. A lot of world building. It's this really intricate fantasy world. I just haven't gotten there yet. I keep getting new shiny ideas and I'm drawn to them like a moth to light. Except I hate moths, so I'm cooler than a moth. That brings us up to this past year. I haven't really written anything. I've outlined a few stories. I've come up with a couple new ideas. I wrote a couple projects at 10,000 words and then stopped right about there. But I haven't really done anything with my brain creatively. I've done some things with my brain, not a lot. But I haven't done anything creative with my brain kind of since NaNoWriMo last year. So I'm really excited to use my brain for something creative. Yes, I'm looking forward to NaNoWriMo this year. I am. Alright, so let me see if I can recap what I've written for you guys. Untouched was the first one. The Plural of Love was the second one. Connor Thomas and the Hero of Farshire was the third. Beautiful Madness is the fourth. And The Island is the fifth. I also had another novel in there that I got to 60,000 words, but it wasn't finished. It was supposed to be like a 90,000 word story. Didn't finish the ending because I didn't know what to do for the ending. Again, this was back when I didn't plot as thoroughly as I do now. So I do count the novel that I got to 60,000 words as kind of a novel that I wrote. I shouldn't, but I kind of count it. 60,000 words, and it was all like coherent and good stuff. I just never wrote the ending to it. And then I stole the plot for other stories. This novel that I'm writing for NaNoWriMo is going to be like novel 6 or 7, depending on how generous I'm feeling with my counting. So yeah, I've written quite a bit in my day. I have 3 novels that are completed, edited, polished, queryable status. And then I have another 3 novels that are incomplete but mostly done, mostly there, kinda there-ish. So anyways, that is my writing history, both NaNoWriMo and beyond. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I will have another video up soon. Bye! Bye! Thanks for watching the vlog!